My name is Nicholas Ho, and today I'll be talking about Minamata disease at Minamata Bay, Japan. This is the table of content of the stuff I'll be talking about today. So the purpose of this presentation is to provide a context for the Minamata Bay pollution and to provide an understanding of the causes of the Minamata disease, as well as demonstrating the health consequences of the exposure to pollution. Lastly, I'll be explaining the aftermath and some social conflicts and issues that the event raised. Before diving into the Minamata disease events, I would like to explain what the disease entails. Minamata disease is basically a mercury poisoning with neurological symptoms. When methylmercury enters a human body or animal body, it covalently binds to cysteine, which is an important amino acid. The process was to form cysteine methylmercury, which is a structural analog of the essential amino acid methionine. Therefore, the structure can pass through placenta and blood-brain barrier via an amino acid transporter to cause damage to the central nervous system, which makes it really penetrable. This is the timeline of the Minamata Bay disease. So in 1908, a chemical factory opened in Minamata. It was later named the Chizo Factory. However, it wasn't until 1932 that the factory started using mercury catalysts in its production process. As you can see here at the map, when the factory first started in 1908, all the chemical waste were disposed directly to Minamata Bay through the Hayakan Bar, as you can see here. In the period of 1920s to 1940s, Chizo reached two separated compensation agreements with the fishery cooperative in response to its environmental impacts on the local fishery ecosystem. Starting in 1951, though, the factory used ferric sulfide as the co-catalyst. A side reaction of this catalytic cycle led to the production of a small amount of methylmercury. As a result, this highly toxic compound was released into Minamata Bay regularly since 1951 until heavy investigation took place. In 1959, under a closer scrutiny and investigation on the waste disposal mainly at the Hayakan Harbor, Chizo Factory changed its wastewater output route to the Minamata River, which is located northeast to the factory, as you can see here on the top right. Other than the immediate effect of fish deaths at the mouth of the river, new Minamata disease victims appeared as the wastewater polluted greater areas down the coast of the Shiranui Sea. In 1965, a second outbreak of Minamata disease occurred in Niigata Prefecture, and it was made public. This drew much more attention than the first outbreak. More research groups began to investigate the event. In 1966, finally, a report concluded concrete proof that pollution from Chizo Factory was the cause of the Minamata disease. In 1968, with the support from local communities, patients filed a lawsuit against Chizo Corporation, which ended in a victory in 1971. So this table shows the prevalence of typical neurological symptoms in the 22 cases of prenatal Minamata disease. As you can see, the most characteristic symptoms are mental retardation, cerebral symptoms like ataxia, and reflex disturbances. The first signs of neurologic deficiency in Minamata cases usually occurred in infants at early stage. Delayed movements and failure to follow visual stimuli were early signs of the disease. In 1969 to 1971, with the support from the local communities, the patient group advocated for compensation. It had become apparent that damages should not be tolerated when their lives had been compromised. When compensation law was legally justified in 1971, the number of applications for disease certification then skyrocketed. The total number of officially certified Minamata disease patients was 2,955 by 2005. Though it was quite a success for the patient to earn back what they deserved, this wave of compensation had a problem. While it was difficult to access the past exposure dose of the chemical, most complaints and claims about the disease were subjective and not free from bias, especially when given the possibility of getting compensation money. Was justice really served in this case then? So to sum up the impact of Minamata Bay event on the local population, out of 2,555 reported cases of Minamata disease, 1,794 people died. Beyond the tragedy of this massive environmental pollution, the event raised issues regarding ways to compensate mass population of adverse health effects. As the symptoms were subjective at times, it was extremely difficult to rule out the ones without the disease. The social conflict brought up the need to construct a systematic compensation system for a large variety of negative health effects. Thank you.